it's inevitable that the impact of sustainability and the sustainability or the carbon taxes that are going to come is going to put a lot more burden of responsibility on business. And tax plays a real role in helping clients move down their carbon neutral agendas. And so I think that's going to open up a whole world of both opportunity and planning, but also really help companies to be on their transformation journey on stronger sustainability.
I'd say the number one thing I'm hearing from clients is that it's such a wide spectrum of where people are on this journey. It is a journey for everybody. I think sustainability is hitting the boardroom and the C-suite with a lot of emphasis and intentionality, and that's starting to make its way down into tax.
The key message is really just stop up and think, how can tax actually make a real difference to help companies go through that transformation journey that they're going on sustainability. Be active, make a decision on how you want to play, and you can actually make a real difference in the tax function.
I think in the sustainability, it's all about the journey of the client, and for the tax function to really be front and center with their clients, kind of thinking through the strategy, thinking about how you deal with supply chain, how you're going to pay for it, and the opportunity with incentives and credits and other things, which is really, really big.
For tax, not getting actively involved in that will be such a mistake. There's going to be a huge driver on transparency. Part of that transparency is to say that we have good tax governance in place. And that's why tax functions need to get on that wave as well, of actually building truly good tax governance globally, not just in the countries that have mandatory rules, but actually in every single place. Do you have good tax governance in place? That's questions that you should expect to get from the board or from the management or the audit committee, or actually just be able to have in place in order to do reporting on it.
I think about sustainability in terms of all of the new incentives that are being offered to organizations, and fundamentally understanding, how do you account for those incentives?
It's a brilliant opportunity for tax department to actually elevate themselves into those discussions by not only helping with the implementation of the transformation that companies are going through, but also helping finding incentives and grants and R&D. The whole reporting is a big issue that people need to get to grasp with. And then there's a massive issue around actually getting data so you can actually do your reporting, inform your boards, and actually be on front foot on all the new requirements that are coming. So I think the focus of COP27 will be how do we actually get it done? And what governments will do is they will use rules and regulations, they will use behavioral taxes, and they will use incentives and grants.
We really will be witnessing, I think, this increasing trend in sustainability, achieving its ambitions through policy levers. We are actually hoping to see a lot of momentum around the build out of carbon markets. So we have the general framework, but we don't have those technical rules. And obviously once those markets are launched, there'll be a lot of tax considerations and implications into how those transactions are supposed to be structured.
I think as we move forward with COP27, one of the biggest outgrowths of that is going to be standardization around expectations on what it means to be what it means to have good governance and good, reliable, consistent, comparable reporting and disclosures.
Carbon taxes, environmental taxes, and Pillar 2. I think one of the interesting things that we're sort of seeing and hearing from the OECD and regulators is that tax incentives will need to change. That tax incentives that were available to companies may now not be available. And I think that's pretty clear now on Pillar 2 in terms of carbon taxes and environmental taxes. I think there's still some regulation to come in terms of how those types of tax incentives for carbon neutrality and environmental taxes and types of credits to transform. I think there's still a little bit to go in terms of what's going to be available and not available in the future.